Judges chapter 7. Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the well of Harod, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them, by the hill of Moreh in the valley. And the Lord said unto Gideon,
The people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, Mine own hand hath saved me. Now therefore, go to, proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, Whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead.
And there returned of the people 22,000, and there remained 10,000. And the Lord said unto Gideon,
The people are yet too many. Bring them down unto the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be, that of whom I say unto thee, This shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee. And of whomsoever I say unto thee, This shall not go with thee, the same shall not go.
So he brought down the people unto the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon,
Every one that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise every one that boweth down upon his knees to drink.
And the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. And the Lord said unto Gideon,
By the 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand. And let all the other people go, every man unto his place.
So the people took victuals in their hand, and their trumpets. And he sent all the rest of Israel, every man unto his tent, and retained those 300 men. And the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley. And it came to pass the same night, that the Lord said unto him,
Arise, get thee down unto the host, for I have delivered it into thine hand. But if thou fear to go down, go thou with Phurah thy servant down to the host, and thou shalt hear what they say, and afterward shall thine hands be strengthened to go down unto the host.
Then he went down with Phurah his servant unto the outside of the armed men that were in the host. And the Midianites and the Amalekites and all the children of the east lay along in the valley like grasshoppers for multitude, and their camels were without number, as the sand by the seaside for multitude. And when Gideon was come, behold, there was a man that told a dream unto his fellow, and said,
Behold, I dreamed a dream, and lo, a cake of barley bread tumbled into the host of Midian, and came unto a tent and smote it, that it fell, and overturned it, that the tent lay alone.
And his fellow answered and said,
This is nothing else save the sword of Gideon the son of Joash, a man of Israel. For into his hand hath God delivered Midian and all the host.
And it was so, when Gideon heard the telling of the dream and the interpretation thereof, that he worshipped and returned into the host of Israel, and said,
Arise, for the Lord hath delivered into your hand the host of Midian.
And he divided 300 men into 3 companies, and he put a trumpet in every man's hand, with empty pitchers and lamps within the pitchers. And he said unto them,
Look on me, and do likewise. And behold, when I come to the outside of the camp, it shall be that, as I do, so shall ye do. When I blow with the trumpet, I and all that are with me, then blow ye the trumpets also on every side of all the camp, and say, The sword of the Lord and of Gideon!
So Gideon and the 100 men that were with him came unto the outside of the camp in the beginning of the middle watch. And they had but newly set the watch. And they blew the trumpets, and brake the pitchers that were in their hands. And the 3 companies blew the trumpets, and brake the pitchers, and held the lamps in their left hands, and the trumpets in their right hands to blow withal. And they cried,
The sword of the Lord and of Gideon!
And they stood every man in his place round about the camp. And all the host ran and cried and fled. And the 300 blew the trumpets, and the Lord set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the host. And the host fled to Bethshittah and Zererath, and to the border of Abel-Meholah unto Tabbath. And the men of Israel gathered themselves together out of Naphtali, and out of Asher, and out of all Manasseh, and pursued after the Midianites. And Gideon sent messengers throughout all Mount Ephraim, saying,
Come down against the Midianites, and take before them the waters unto Bethbara and Jordan.
Then all the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together, and took the waters unto Bethbarab and Jordan. And they took 2 princes of the Midianites, Oreb and Zeeb. And they slew Oreb upon the rock Oreb, and Zeeb they slew at the winepress of Zeeb, and pursued Midian, and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeeb to Gideon on the other side Jordan. Judges, chapter 8. And the men of Ephraim said unto him,
Why hast thou served us thus, that thou callest us not when thou wentest to fight with the Midianites?
And they did chide with him sharply. And he said unto them,
What have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer? God hath delivered into your hands the princes of Midian, Oreb, and Zeeb. And what was I able to do in comparison of you?
Then their anger was abated toward him when he had said that. And Gideon came to Jordan and passed over, he and the 300 men that were with him, faint, yet pursuing them. And he said unto the men of Succoth,
Give, I pray you, loaves of bread unto the people that follow me, for they be faint. And I am pursuing after Zebah and Zalmunna, kings of Midian.
And the princes of Succoth said,
Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thine army?
And Gideon said,
Therefore, when the Lord hath delivered Zebah and Zalmunna into mine hand, then I will tear your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and with briars.
And he went up thence to Penuel, and spake unto them likewise. And the men of Penuel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him. And he spake also unto the men of Penuel, saying,
When I come again in peace, I will break down this tower.
Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor, and their hosts with them, about 15,000 men, all that were left of all the hosts of the children of the east. For there fell 120,000 men that drew sword. And Gideon went up by the way of them that dwelt in tents on the east of Nobah and Jogbehah, and smote the host, for the host was secure. And when Zebah and Zalmunna fled, he pursued after them, and took the 2 kings of Midian, Zebah and Zalmunna, and discomfited all the host. And Gideon the son of Joash returned from battle before the sun was up, and caught a young man of the men of Succoth, and inquired of him. And he described unto him the princes of Succoth, and the elders thereof, even 70 men. And he came unto the men of Succoth, and said,
Behold, Zebah and Zalmunna, with whom ye did upbraid me, saying, Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thy men that are weary?
And he took the elders of the city, and thorns of the wilderness, and briars, and with them he taught the men of Succoth. And he beat down the tower of Penuel, and slew the men of the city. Then said he unto Zebah and Zalmunna,
What manner of men were they whom ye slew at Tabor?
And they answered,
As thou art, so were they. Each one resembled the children of a king.
And he said,
They were my brethren, even the sons of my mother. As the Lord liveth, if ye had saved them alive, I would not slay you.
And he said unto Jether his firstborn,
Up and slay them.
But the youth drew not his sword, for he feared, because he was yet a youth. Then Zebah and Zalmunna said,
Rise thou and fall upon us, for as the man is, so is his strength.
And Gideon arose and slew Zebah and Zalmunna, and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks. Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon,
Rule thou over us, both thou and thy son's son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian.
And Gideon said unto them,
I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you. The Lord shall rule over you.
And Gideon said unto them,
I would desire a request of you, that ye would give me every man the earrings of his prey.
For they had golden earrings, because they were Ishmaelites. And they answered,
We will willingly give them.
And they spread a garment, and did cast therein every man the earrings of his prey. And the weight of the golden earrings that he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold, beside ornaments and collars and purple raiment that was on the kings of Midian, and beside the chains that were about their camels' necks. And Gideon made an ephod thereof, and put it in his city, even in Ophrah. And all Israel went thither a-whoring after it, which thing became a snare unto Gideon and to his house. Thus was Midian subdued before the children of Israel, so that they lifted up their heads no more. And the country was in quietness 40 years in the days of Gideon. And Jerubbaal the son of Joash went and dwelt in his own house. And Gideon had 70 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives. And his concubine that was in Shechem, she also bare him a son, whose name he called Abimelech. And Gideon the son of Joash died in a good old age, and was buried in the sepulchre of Joash his father, in Ophrah of the Abiezrites. And it came to pass, as soon as Gideon was dead, that the children of Israel turned again, and went a-whoring after Baalim, and made Baal-berith their god. And the children of Israel remembered not the Lord their God, who had delivered them out of the hands of all their enemies on every side. Neither showed they kindness to the house of Jerubbaal, namely Gideon, according to all the goodness which he had showed unto Israel. Judges, chapter 9. And Abimelech the son of Jerubbaal went to Shechem unto his mother's brethren, and communed with them, and with all the family of the house of his mother's father, saying,
Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem, whether it is better for you either that all the sons of Jerubbaal, which are 70 persons, reign over you, or that one reign over you. Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh.
And his mother's brethren spake of him in the ears of all the men of Shechem all these words. And their hearts inclined to follow Abimelech, for they said,
He is our brother.
And they gave him 70 pieces of silver out of the house of Baal-berith, wherewith Abimelech hired vain and light persons which followed him. And he went unto his father's house at Ophrah, and slew his brethren the sons of Jerubbaal, being 70 persons upon one stone. Notwithstanding yet Jotham the youngest son of Jerubbaal was left, for he hid himself. And all the men of Shechem gathered together, and all the house of Millo, and went and made Abimelech king by the plain of the pillar that was in Shechem. And when they told it to Jotham, he went and stood on the top of Mount Gerizim, and lifted up his voice, and cried, and said unto them,
Hearken unto me, ye men of Shechem, that God may hearken unto you. The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them. And they said unto the olive tree, Reign thou over us. But the olive tree said unto them, Should I leave my fatness wherewith by me they honor God and man, and go to be promoted over the trees? And the trees said to the fig tree, Come thou and reign over us. But the fig tree said unto them, Should I forsake my sweetness and my good fruit, and go to be promoted over the trees? Then said the trees unto the vine, Come thou and reign over us. And the vine said unto them, Should I leave my wine, which cheereth God and man, and go to be promoted over the trees? Then said all the trees unto the bramble, Come thou and reign over us. And the bramble said unto the trees, If in truth ye anoint me king over you, then come and put your trust in my shadow. And if not, let fire come out of the bramble and devour the cedars of Lebanon. Now therefore, if ye have done truly and sincerely in that ye have made Abimelech king, and if ye have dealt well with Jerubbaal and his house, and have done unto him according to the deserving of his hands, for my father fought for you, and adventured his life far, and delivered you out of the hand of Midian. And ye are risen up against my father's house this day, and have slain his sons, 70 persons, upon one stone, and have made Abimelech, the son of his maidservant, king over the men of Shechem, because he is your brother. If ye then have dealt truly and sincerely with Jerubbaal and with his house this day, then rejoice ye in Abimelech, and let him also rejoice in you. But if not, let fire come out from Abimelech and devour the men of Shechem and the house of Millo. And let fire come out from the men of Shechem and from the house of Millo and devour Abimelech.
And Jotham ran away and fled and went to Beer and dwelt there for fear of Abimelech his brother. When Abimelech had reigned 3 years over Israel, then God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem. And the men of Shechem dealt treacherously with Abimelech, that the cruelty done to the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might come, and their blood be laid upon Abimelech their brother, which slew them, and upon the men of Shechem, which aided him in the killing of his brethren. And the men of Shechem set liers in wait for him in the top of the mountains. And they robbed all that came along that way by them, and it was told Abimelech. And Gaal the son of Ebed came with his brethren, and went over to Shechem, and the men of Shechem put their confidence in him. And they went out into the fields, and gathered their vineyards, and trode the grapes, and made merry, and went into the house of their God, and did eat and drink, and cursed Abimelech. And Gaal the son of Ebed said,
Who is Abimelech, and who is Shechem, that we should serve him? Is not he the son of Jerubbaal, and Zebul his officer? Serve the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for why should we serve him? And would to God this people were under my hand, then would I remove Abimelech.
And he said to Abimelech,
Increase thine army, and come out.
And when Zebul the ruler of the city heard the words of Gaal the son of Ebed, his anger was kindled. And he sent messengers unto Abimelech privily, saying,
Behold, Gaal the son of Ebed and his brethren be come to Shechem, and behold, they fortify the city against thee. Now therefore, up by night, thou and the people that is with thee, and lie in wait in the field. And it shall be that in the morning, as soon as the sun is up, thou shalt rise early, and set upon the city. And behold, when he and the people that is with him come out against thee, then mayest thou do to them as thou shalt find occasion.
And Abimelech rose up, and all the people that were with him by night, and they laid wait against Shechem in 4 companies. And Gaal the son of Ebed went out, and stood in the entering of the gate of the city. And Abimelech rose up, and the people that were with him from lying in wait. And when Gaal saw the people, he said to Zebul,
Behold, there come people down from the top of the mountains.
And Zebul said unto him,
Thou seest the shadow of the mountains as if they were men.
And Gaal spake again and said,
See, there come people down by the middle of the land, and another company come along by the plain of Meonanim.
Then said Zebul unto him,
Where is now thy mouth, wherewith thou saidst, Who is Abimelech that we should serve him? Is not this the people that thou hast despised? Go out, I pray now, and fight with them.
And Gaal went out before the men of Shechem, and fought with Abimelech. And Abimelech chased him, and he fled before him, and many were overthrown and wounded, even unto the entering of the gate. And Abimelech dwelt at Arumah, and Zebul thrust out Gaal and his brethren, that they should not dwell in Shechem. And it came to pass on the morrow that the people went out into the field, and they told Abimelech. And he took the people and divided them into 3 companies, and laid wait in the field, and looked, and behold, the people were come forth out of the city. And he rose up against them and smote them. And Abimelech and the company that was with him rushed forward, and stood in the entering of the gate of the city. And the 2 other companies ran upon all the people that were in the fields, and slew them. And Abimelech fought against the city all that day. And he took the city, and slew the people that was therein, and beat down the city, and sowed it with salt. And when all the men of the tower of Shechem heard that, they entered into an hold of the house of the god Beerith. And it was told Abimelech that all the men of the tower of Shechem were gathered together. And Abimelech gat him up to Mount Zalmon, he and all the people that were with him. And Abimelech took an axe in his hand, and cut down a bough from the trees, and took it and laid it on his shoulder, and said unto the people that were with him,
What ye have seen me do, make haste and do as I have done.
And all the people likewise cut down every man his bough, and followed Abimelech, and put them to the hold, and set the hold on fire upon them. So that all the men of the tower of Shechem died also, about 1,000 men and women. Then went Abimelech to Thebez, and encamped against Thebez, and took it. But there was a strong tower within the city, and thither fled all the men and women, and all they of the city, and shut it to them, and gat them up to the top of the tower. And Abimelech came unto the tower, and fought against it, and went hard unto the door of the tower to burn it with fire. And a certain woman cast a piece of a millstone upon Abimelech's head, and all to break his skull. Then he called hastily unto the young man, his armor-bearer, and said unto him,
Draw thy sword and slay me, that men say not of me, A woman slew him.
And his young man thrust him through, and he died. And when the men of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, they departed every man unto his place. Thus God rendered the wickedness of Abimelech, which he did unto his father, in slaying his 70 brethren. And all the evil of the men of Shechem did God render upon their heads, and upon them came the curse of Jotham the son of Jerubbaal. Judges chapter 10. And after Abimelech, there arose to defend Israel Tola the son of Puah the son of Dodo, a man of Issachar, and he dwelt in Shamir in Mount Ephraim. And he judged Israel 23 years, and died, and was buried in Shamir. And after him arose Jair a Gileadite, and judged Israel 22 years. And he had 30 sons that rode on 30 ass colts. And they had 30 cities, which are called Havoth Jair unto this day, which are in the land of Gilead. And Jair died, and was buried in Caman. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and served Baalim and Ashtaroth, and the gods of Syria, and the gods of Zidon, and the gods of Moab, and the gods of the children of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines, and forsook the Lord, and served not him. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hands of the Philistines, and into the hands of the children of Ammon. And that year they vexed and oppressed the children of Israel. 18 years all the children of Israel that were on the other side Jordan, in the land of the Amorites, which is in Gilead. Moreover, the children of Ammon passed over Jordan to fight also against Judah, and against Benjamin, and against the house of Ephraim, so that Israel was sore distressed. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, saying,
We have sinned against thee, both because we have forsaken our God, and also served Baalim.
And the Lord said unto the children of Israel,
Did not I deliver you from the Egyptians, and from the Amorites, from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines? The Zidonians also, and the Amalekites, and the Maonites did oppress you. And ye cried to me, and I delivered you out of their hand. Yet ye have forsaken me, and served other gods. Wherefore I will deliver you no more. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation.
And the children of Israel said unto the Lord,
We have sinned. Do thou unto us whatsoever seemeth good unto thee. Deliver us only, we pray thee, this day.
And they put away the strange gods from among them, and served the Lord, and his soul was grieved for the misery of Israel. Then the children of Ammon were gathered together, and encamped in Gilead. And the children of Israel assembled themselves together, and encamped in Mizpah. And the people and princes of Gilead said one to another,
What man is he that will begin to fight against the children of Ammon? He shall be head over all the inhabitants of Gilead.
Judges chapter 11. Now Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor, and he was the son of an harlot. And Gilead begat Jephthah. And Gilead's wife bare him sons, and his wife's sons grew up, and they thrust out Jephthah, and said unto him,
Thou shalt not inherit in our father's house, for thou art the son of a strange woman.
Then Jephthah fled from his brethren and dwelt in the land of Tob. And there were gathered vain men to Jephthah and went out with him. And it came to pass in process of time that the children of Ammon made war against Israel. And it was so that when the children of Ammon made war against Israel, the elders of Gilead went to fetch Jephthah out of the land of Tob. And they said unto Jephthah,
Come and be our captain, that we may fight with the children of Ammon.
And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead,
Did not ye hate me, and expel me out of my father's house? And why are ye coming to me now when ye are in distress?
And the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah,
Therefore we turn again to thee now, that thou mayst go with us and fight against the children of Ammon, and be our head over all the inhabitants of Gilead.
And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead,
If ye bring me home again to fight against the children of Ammon, and the Lord deliver them before me, shall I be your head?
And the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah,
The Lord be witness between us, if we do not so according to thy words.
Then Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him head and captain over them. And Jephthah uttered all his words before the Lord in Mizpah. And Jephthah sent messengers unto the king of the children of Ammon, saying,
What hast thou to do with me, that thou art come against me to fight in my land?
And the king of the children of Ammon answered unto the messengers of Jephthah,
Because Israel took away my land, when they came up out of Egypt, from Arnon even unto Jabbok, and unto Jordan. Now therefore restore those lands again peaceably.
And Jephthah sent messengers again unto the king of the children of Ammon, and said unto him,
Thus saith Jephthah, Israel took not away the land of Moab, nor the land of the children of Ammon. But when Israel came up from Egypt and walked through the wilderness unto the Red Sea and came to Kadesh, then Israel sent messengers unto the king of Edom, saying, Let me, I pray thee, pass through thy land. But the king of Edom would not hearken thereto. And in like manner they sent unto the king of Moab, but he would not consent. And Israel abode in Kadesh. Then they went along through the wilderness, and compassed the land of Edom, and the land of Moab, and came by the east side of the land of Moab, and pitched on the other side of Arnon, but came not within the border of Moab, for Arnon was the border of Moab. And Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, the king of Heshbon. And Israel said unto him, Let us pass, we pray thee, through thy land into my place. But Sihon trusted not Israel to pass through his coast. But Sihon gathered all his people together, and pitched in Jahaz, and fought against Israel. And the Lord God of Israel delivered Sihon and all his people into the hand of Israel, and they smote them. So Israel possessed all the land of the Amorites, the inhabitants of that country. And they possessed all the coasts of the Amorites, from Arnon even unto Jabbok, and from the wilderness even unto Jordan. So now the Lord God of Israel hath dispossessed the Amorites from before his people Israel. And shouldest thou possess it? Wilt not thou possess that which Chemosh thy God giveth thee to possess? So whomsoever the Lord our God shall drive out from before us, them will we possess. And now art thou anything better than Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab? Did he ever strive against Israel, or did he ever fight against them while Israel dwelt in Heshbon and her towns, and in Aroer and her towns, and in all the cities that be along by the coast of Arnon 300 years? Why therefore did ye not recover them within that time? Wherefore I have not sinned against thee, but thou doest me wrong to war against me. The Lord the judge be judged this day between the children of Israel and the children of Ammon.
Howbeit the king of the children of Ammon hearkened not unto the words of Jephthah which he sent him. Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he passed over Gilead and Manasseh, and passed over Mizpah of Gilead. And from Mizpah of Gilead he passed over unto the children of Ammon. And Jephthah vowed a vow unto the Lord, and said,
If thou shalt without fail deliver the children of Ammon into mine hands, then it shall be that whatsoever cometh forth of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the children of Ammon shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering.
So Jephthah passed over unto the children of Ammon to fight against them, and the Lord delivered them into his hands. And he smote them from Aroer even till thou come to Minnith, even 20 cities, and unto the plain of the vineyards with a very great slaughter. Thus the children of Ammon were subdued before the children of Israel. And Jephthah came to Mizpah unto his house, and behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels and with dances, and she was his only child. Beside her he had neither son nor daughter. And it came to pass, when he saw her, that he rent his clothes and said,
Alas, my daughter! Thou hast brought me very low, and thou art one of them that trouble me. For I have opened my mouth unto the Lord, and I cannot go back.
And she said unto him,
My father, if thou hast opened thy mouth unto the Lord, do to me according to that which hath proceeded out of thy mouth. For as much as the Lord hath taken vengeance for thee of thine enemies, even of the children of Ammon.
And she said unto her father,
Let this thing be done for me. Let me alone 2 months, that I may go up and down upon the mountains, and bewail my virginity, I and my fellows.
And he said,
Go!
And he sent her away for 2 months. And she went with her companions, and bewailed her virginity upon the mountains. And it came to pass at the end of 2 months, that she returned unto her father, who did with her according to his vow which he had vowed, and she knew no man. And it was a custom in Israel, that the daughters of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Jephthah the Gileadite 4 days in a year. Judges, chapter 12. And the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together, and went northward, and said unto Jephthah,
Wherefore passest thou over to fight against the children of Ammon, and didst not call us to go with thee? We will burn thine house upon thee with fire.
And Jephthah said unto them,
I and my people were at great strife with the children of Ammon, and when I called you, ye delivered me not out of their hands. And when I saw that ye delivered me not, I put my life in my hands, and passed over against the children of Ammon, and the Lord delivered them into my hand. Wherefore then are ye come up against unto me this day to fight against me?
Then Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead, and fought with Ephraim. And the men of Gilead smote Ephraim, because they said,
Ye Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim, among the Ephraimites, and among the Manassites.
And the Gileadites took the passages of Jordan before the Ephraimites. And it was so, that when those Ephraimites which were escaped said,
Let me go over,
that the men of Gilead said unto him,
Art thou an Ephraimite?
If he said,
Nay.
Then said they unto him,
Say now, Shibboleth.
And he said,
Sibboleth?
For he could not frame to pronounce it right. Then they took him and slew him at the passages of Jordan. And there fell at that time of the Ephraimites 42,000. And Jephthah judged Israel 6 years. Then died Jephthah the Gileadite, and was buried in one of the cities of Gilead. And after him Ibzan of Bethlehem judged Israel. And he had 30 sons, and 30 daughters whom he sent abroad, and took in 30 daughters from abroad for his sons. And he judged Israel 7 years. Then died Ibzan, and was buried at Bethlehem. And after him Elon a Zebulunite judged Israel. And he judged Israel 10 years. And Elon the Zebulunite died, and was buried in Ajalon in the country of Zebulun. And after him Abdon the son of Hillel, a Pirathonite, judged Israel. And he had 40 sons and 30 nephews that rode on 70 ass colts. And he judged Israel 8 years. And Abdon the son of Hillel the Pirathonite died, and was buried in Pirathon in the land of Ephraim, in the mount of the Amalekites.
Many years have passed since Moses, at the age of 120, died without seeing the promised land, and since Jehovah caused the walls of Jericho to collapse, allowing the Hebrew tribes, led by Joshua, Moses' successor, to enter the city, destroy and raze it to the ground, and to kill all the inhabitants of Jericho, without distinction. In the years following the resounding victory against Jericho that was the gate to the Promised Land, as Joshua ordered, the Israelites settled in the land of Canaan that the Lord had given them. While many of them still lived in camps of tents like nomads, shepherds and merchants, others became farmers and artisans. They constructed villages and cities and lived in houses built with stone and clay bricks. When he was 110 years old, Joshua, son of Nun, faithful servant of Jehovah, died. The elders of his people wept for many days the loss of their commander, the successor of Moses. But after the death of Joshua, the new generations of the children of Israel dispersed in hundreds of camps, villages, and cities. Few knew about the pains suffered by their forefathers. None of them could imagine what great gift that Jehovah had offered to their fathers and grandfathers, releasing them from the Pharaoh's slavery and taking them out of Egypt. Following the example of nearby peoples, many abandoned the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, who released their fathers to give their sons the possibility to be free men, and they began to worship the god Baal. As punishment, Jehovah abandoned them and delivered them into the hands of marauders and the greedy people nearby, who killed their sons and enslaved their daughters. When they were tired from their troubles, the children of Israel cried for their sins. So Jehovah sent judges among them, righteous men to lead the tribes of his people towards salvation.
Jehovah blesses you, Joseph.
Where are you going, Caleb?
To remind everyone that in heaven there's a Father who loves them.
They forgot him, and now they're crying.
They have to remember him, otherwise there'll be trouble.
May Jehovah guide your footsteps. Good luck, Caleb.
In the meantime, the Israelites sang and danced to pay homage to the great god Baal, who took the place of Jehovah in their hearts.
Why did you people abandon your God?
Our neighbors worship Baal. Why shouldn't we also have our own God?
We want another God. But Baal isn't your father's God.
Our fathers are dead. Dead.
But Baal is a god of clay, just clay. Your God is the living God, the high invisible master of the heavens, your creator.
Go away. You're an imposter. If your God is invisible, then that means he doesn't exist.
Damn you!
This unfaithful behavior of the Israelites aroused Jehovah's anger, because many of them not only did not respect Moses' law, but even continued to worship Baal and other gods made of clay and stone, venerated by the nearby people.
Where did he go? He went that way.
And the men ran after him, but they did not find any trace of the prophet.
He's not here.
Perhaps he went that way.
And the children of Israel continued doing what is evil in the sight of the Lord, regardless of the consequences. And then the Lord said,
Because this nation violated the covenant I established with their fathers, and they didn't obey to my voice, I won't chase any more before them any of the nations that Joshua left when he died. So through their means I'll test the Israelis to see if they follow the path of the Lord and will walk on it as their fathers did, or not.
And the Lord tested the Hebrew people once more. He just wanted the new generations of the children of Israel to know and learn war, at least those that had not seen it before.
Who is it that will pay for this weapon?
Jabin the king. He will lead us to recover the land of the Canaan.
Are you sure that Jabin will manage to get rid of the Hebrews?
With our weapons, he'll become invincible. But you're a stranger. Who are you?
I am a servant of the living God, sent by the Almighty to his people who betrayed him.
My forefathers crossed the desert with Moses.
Then you are an Israeli. You're my brother.
Nah. I make weapons for Jabin. My god now is the great Baal. Do you understand?
I regret it, brother. I regret it very much.
To punish his people, Jehovah decided to deliver them into the hands of their enemies. When Jabin, king of the Canaan, sent against them a mighty army, the Israelites thought the day of their doom was near, and they were afraid. Then Jehovah felt sorry for his people and chose Deborah, wife of Lapidot, a righteous woman, as judge and prophet to save the people of Israel and bring them back to their faith in the Lord.
I owed some money to my brother, but I couldn't pay him. Then my brother stole my flock and took my only son, a 12-year-old child, to make his slave.
Why did you steal from your brother? From his garments, I see that he's poor, but not a wretch. So now tell me, how long has your brother owed you this money for?
My brother hasn't paid me for 1 year. 1 whole year. He's got no money left to pay with, so I took his son and sheep. It's my right to do this as payment.
You're a greedy man. You should be more understanding towards him. The time you gave him was too short. You had no right to take his sheep and to enslave his son.
But I'll invest what I've taken from him. He won't die of hunger. He's just weak and miserable. He deserves no more.
You'll give back to him what you took from him. You must do so. Brothers should help each other. That's what Jehovah teaches, and that's what you have to do, so don't forget it.
But I only took what belonged to me. Nothing more, nothing less.
You must have mercy on him. You'll give him back his son and the sheep you took. As for you, you'll only keep 4 sheep and a ram.
But I'll be ruined.
Silence. You are rich and Jehovah doesn't like greed. The first 4 lambs that are born in the flock each year will be given to you as reimbursement until your credit is settled.
Thank you, Deborah.
What's happening? Who are those men?
Jabin, the king of the Canaanites, is coming toward our tents and villages with 900 chariots and thousands of warriors.
He wants to chase us away from the land of our fathers.
He will soon be here. Call Jehovah for help.
Why don't you turn to Baal? Caleb! Caleb, dear brother! The people of Israel have finally decided to ask Jehovah for mercy.
Then let Jehovah have pity for them, for their children, their women, and their flocks. I saw them preparing weapons for their king's army.
Brother, do you know who will lead the king's army against us?
Sisera, the commander.
Oh,
Sisera the butcher.
Take my horse, Caleb, and go call Barak, son of Abinoam. Tell him to come quickly, because the Lord, God of Israel, orders it.
Caleb galloped for days and days, crossing mountains and valleys to reach Barak in his land.
Let us pray Jehovah so that Caleb is soon here.
I pray you, Lord, save your people.
When Barak, son of Abinoam from Kalez of Naphtali, knew the bad news, he set out with his men to save the people of Israel, who were in great danger.
Why do you want me to face the king's army?
Jehovah commands you to fight for his people.
How can you be so sure? Do you want me to fight to save a people who always denied their own God?
The God of Israel is also your God. Go to the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun. Take 1,000 men and go up Mount Tabor. There you'll attack Sisera and save your people.
I will fight only if you will fight with me.
It's the Lord of heaven and earth who commands you to beat Jabin and Sisera, not me. If you want, I'll come with you, but the path you walk won't bring you honor, because the Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. You will fight, Barak, but the honor of victory will not be yours.
Even if the honor of victory won't be mine and everybody will say so, you'll come with me. I won't go to fight alone.
But it's He, only He, Jehovah, the invisible, mighty God who commands you, not me.
Doesn't matter, Deborah, because who will win is Jehovah and only Him.
And the day of the battle came. Barak stood on Mount Tabor. Near to him there were Deborah and 10,000 men, waiting for the start of the fight. Sisera was on the opposite side, with his 900 iron chariots and his soldiers that stretched as far as the torrent of Kishon.
There are many, so many. Sisera has put together a great army. I'd never believe it.
But you have nothing to fear. Attack them, Barak. This is the day when Jehovah delivers Sisera into your hands. Jehovah will march in front of you. Attack them, brother.
In the name of Jehovah!
The Hebrews are attacking us.
And we will crash them.
Archers, fire your arrows!
Come on! Jehovah is fighting on our side! Come on!
The battlefield was covered with enemy bodies. Just one was still alive. It was Sisera.
Sisera, my friend, come on. Come down. Come on, don't be afraid. Come in. Here.
Thank you, Giles. Stand at the entrance of the tent, and if anybody comes, tell them you haven't seen anybody. Giles, what you... No!
Barak, the great commander, why are you here? My husband has always been a friend of yours.
Jail, I'm looking for a man.
Come.
Why'd you do that, Jail? Why did you do that?
He was just a poor, defeated man who was tired of living. I'll sing to you, my Lord. I'll sing a God of Sinai. When you set forth from Seir, when you marched from the lands of Eder, the earth trembled, the sky tumbled, the clouds poured rain. In front of you, my Lord, in front of you, O God of Sinai.
The children of Israel lived in peace in the land of Canaan for over 40 years, but some of them went back to worshipping the god Baal. Then the Lord delivered them into the hands of the people of Midian who lived southeast of the Dead Sea. When the people of Israel sowed and wheat started to grow, the Midianites, together with the Amalek, the children of Amalek who came from the southwest, and the Arabs who came from Transjordan, all plundered Israel as far as Gaza. The marauders came in thousands from their territories, plundering and devastating the land that Jehovah had given to the Hebrews. When the downfall of the Israelites was complete, Jehovah heard their cries of pain, and as he did with Deborah, he once more sent them a new prophet.
Who are you?
Don't be afraid, Gideon. The Lord sent me.
Who are you? How do you know my name? I don't know you.
The Lord wants you to save his people.
But that's really not possible. I'm only a boy.
The Lord wants you. Only you, Gideon.
I don't believe you. Give me a sign that God sent you.
Look at that basket there on the ground, Gideon.
Why? Why? What do you want to do, huh?
Look at the basket there on the ground and pay attention. Now you'll see what the Lord can do.
Only the Lord can perform such miracles.
Gideon, it's the Lord commanding you. Tonight, take 2 steers with you and...
Gideon started his work as the Lord told him, but he didn't dare do it during daylight. Because he was afraid of his father's house and of the people of the city, he worked by night. The Lord told Gideon,
"Take your father's steer and a second one 7 years old. Demolish your father's altar of Baal. Destroy the idol next to it, and with the same stones build an altar to the Lord, to your God. Place everything in the right order. Then prepare the altar for the holocaust. Take the second steer and offer it to me, your Lord, using the wood of the idol you destroyed."
And the morning after,
Who offended
This
Baal?
will cause misfortune to befall us all.
It was me. The angel of the Lord ordered me to do so.
Baal will punish us all.
Baal is nothing. He doesn't exist. Jehovah alone can protect us from the Midianites' raids and allow us to live in peace.
Baal will punish us all. This is
Do you want me to be put to death for a god of stone? Do you want to defend Baal because I offended him? You want to protect a false god?
You demolished the altar of the god Baal and you destroyed the idol nearby. You had no right to do it because it was our God, the God who protected us from our enemies. That's sacrilege.
Baal is not the true God. The only true God is Jehovah, who let our fathers and grandfathers flee from Egypt, saving them from slavery. You want to deny our God for a god of stone? Don't you see that because of our ineptitude, we are victims of our enemies? God chased our oppressors away from us and gave us a homeland. And we, what have we done? We've worshipped other gods instead of him. And we let Israel be brought to ruin by Midian.
Gideon is right. We sinned against God and he abandoned us to our destiny. We've got to return to God.
It's your fault if we get into trouble.
If Baal is a true God, let him defend himself because my son has broken down his altar.
Let's get back to our true God, and he'll help us. He'll defend us.
Jehovah will help us. He will free us of our enemies, and we will be a great people. May Jehovah be blessed.
all the Midianites, the Amalekites, and the eastern people gathered together. They crossed the Jordan River and plundered everything they found in the Hebrew fields. Then they camped in the Israel Valley. But the Spirit of Jehovah possessed Gideon, who played the trumpet to summon the Ablazariti. Gideon and all the people with him camped near the spring of Karod, while the camp of Midian was north in the valley. in the direction of the hill of Moor. Then the Lord said to Gideon,
Your people are too many. Let them go down to the water. I'll choose for you. I'll say this one comes with you, this one won't come with you. You'll place aside all those that will lick the water with their tongue to drink, and the same you'll do with those who will drink on their knees.
300 was the number of men that licked the water, taking it in their hands. Gideon kept back these 300 men. They took food from their people and the trumpets. The camp of Midian was below in the valley. Gideon divided the 300 men into 3 sections. He gave each one a trumpet, an empty jug, and a torch. Then he said they had to do what he would do when he reached the edge of the camp, and they would have to shout,
For Jehovah!
Gideon and 100 men arrived at the edge of the camp. He blew the trumpet and they broke the jugs. The other 2 sections did the same. Then all together with their left hand they took their torches, while they kept the trumpets in their right hand and played them. Then they shouted, The sword of the Lord for Gideon! The Midianite soldiers went mad with the sound of the trumpets. They turned their swords against their own companions, killing them. The Midianites' army fled in panic, and the Israelis advanced to capture land as far as the Jordan River. The people asked Gideon to become king of Israel, but he replied,
Only the Lord can be the king of Israel.